Hello, my name is Sweets, and if you're watching this, you are brand spanking new to Aion, and you're looking to learn a little bit about maybe how to set up your game options and things like that. So what I'm going to be doing is making a series of videos for people who've never played before, have no idea what the controls do, how the game works, anything like that. So if you've played Aion at all, just, you can probably skip this one. But if you're brand new or you're sharing this game with a friend, this will probably be a good video for you to have, just to kind of explain not only what the options are, but also kind of the reasons behind why you pick what you pick. So sit back, relax, and we'll do some learning. All right. Okay. So we're basically going to start from the very beginning here. You're going to see you have a very, very loud amount of music. And you know what? Let's do that first. Usually what they do is they start the game out at max volume and they deafen you. So if you want to turn it down, all you have to do is hit O and then hit Options. You can also find that down here, but I don't even know where to look because I never use it. So just hitting O for options is a really good thing to do. So we're going to go here. And we're going to go and we're going to turn down the sound. The music in this game is beautiful, but you may want to turn it down just a little bit so you can hear yourself think. And I've muted this, but there's a voice that will tell you if something's out of your line of sight or if you're not close enough to hit it. I personally don't, I get annoyed with it, so I turn it off, but I will put it back on just for you, so that you can hear when I am too far from something. And I'm going to hit the apply button, so it's going to turn all my sounds down. Now I can hear myself think. And while we're in here, let's go ahead and look at the game options. The first section is your character. It's going to have your character name that you can choose if you want to see it or not. You'll see my name Sweets right there. If I hit apply, my name disappears. Because if you want to run around and you don't want to see your name above your head, that is up to you. I sometimes like to have it there so I know what rank I am. But, sometimes I turn it off as well. So that's completely up to you. Group member names, alliance member names, same thing. NPC names, that's going to be all these guys with the different green names above their heads. You can turn that off if you want. I don't advise doing that because you need to know who people are so you can turn in quests. So I would advise keeping those on. Friendly PC names. That's going to be people like Kapai Toga here. I want to keep his name on. See, when I'm targeting him, it shows him, but otherwise it goes away. I like to know who's around me, so I keep that on. Enemy PC names, it's good to keep that on. Not because you need to know their names, but sometimes you need to know the names of people who can kick your butt and the people who can't. So it's good to keep that available to you. Monster names are really important as well. As you're going through quests, you're going to want to know what the monsters are that you're looking for. This here, definitely keep on, especially if you're new. Display collection item names. That basically will make sure that you're seeing the stuff for your quests. And that's super important. Now, as far as displaying your title, you can hide it and not have one at all. Now, there's no title. I don't see anybody with a title around because everybody's new. So your basic title will be things like you're going to get titles later in the game, like heroic or tenacious, things like that. Those are fun to have, but that's just kind of, they aren't really important for you to know. Rank is a good thing for you to know. And it says, I'm soldier rank 9 Sweets. That means I have no AP, no rank, I haven't really killed anybody, I haven't really done anything. Most people who are this rank are in the same boat. They're either low level or they haven't done very much PvPing. People who are generals, commanders, governors, 5-star officers, things like that. Those are going to be people who've done a lot of PvPing, who know their way around the maps, things like that. So if you see somebody coming at you with a larger title like that, you'll know that means that person's a little bit more experienced than you are. So you want to either take that into account when you attack them, or maybe avoid them. So I usually put display, rank, title. Legion name I like to have on there as well. Sometimes you get to know what legions are friendly, which legions are good at PvP, which legions are not good at PvP. It's good to know. It's kind of like knowing what family people are from. Or if you know, like, that Ilios Legion is known for hacking, or that Ilios Legion is known for being really good at PvP. You know, it's good to know people's legions, so go ahead and keep that on. So basically leave everything on, change it to rank and show if you agree with what I've said. If not, change it to whatever you want. And I know I'm taking my time going through this, but I really want to make sure that you understand what you're doing. Feel free to skip if you get bored. Okay, status bars. I like to have my status bar as automatic. I just like to know, if how my health is doing. It also will show down here, and we're going to actually move that in a minute, but it will show on the side there. You can keep an eye on your health that way. Also, you can make sure that you can see your group and alliance members' health bars. I like to do that on any character I'm on, but especially if I'm playing a healer, I like to know how the people around me are doing, because it doesn't do, like, if you play Overwatch, it doesn't show critical above their head. It just shows that they're low health and you better be on top of it. I like having the status target, wow, I can't talk today, the target status bar, also on the HP and MP bar. I like to see both of those things. I like knowing the person I'm fighting. Let's say I'm fighting this gentleman here. If I was fighting him, his name is up at the top of the screen, and his health is the red and his mana is the blue. If he runs out of blue, it means he can't cast any more skills. And if I'm fighting somebody and I see that they're struggling for mana, that's important for me to know. Health, of course, you want to know if they're about to die as well. So I suggest having both of those things on. Now, user interface is going to be very much your personal preference. If you're still learning your skills, I do suggest leaving your UI size to be pretty large so that you can see your skills. Now, when I make my own, I tend to put this all the way down and put this up at the top, and you see how much smaller that got and the picture of me went away. I want to be able to sure that I see as much of my screen as possible when I'm fighting in PvP. So if somebody's coming at me from the left or somebody's coming at me from the right, I see them coming and I know, it's not blocked by, like a skill bar or something. So it's totally up to you. I will make it a little bit bigger just because I'm trying to be a little bit helpful to you. So, all right. Chain skill indicator. When you get more skills, you'll get a little thing, and I don't know if you can see my mouse when I'm doing this, but up at the top here, like along the middle above the purple Luna cube, you're going to see the skills that are available to you. You don't necessarily have to push on those, but sometimes it's good to know what options you have as far as skills go, especially if you're learning. So I would suggest leaving that on for now, but if you feel comfortable later on taking it off, you can. Cooldown time of skills and objects, very good idea to keep on, especially if you're getting familiar with, how long it takes for a healing pot to come back. They give you some healing pots at the very beginning, and so when you click on it, it tells you have 29 seconds before it's going to come back. That's important to know, especially if you're in the middle of a battle and you run out of health, healing spells, and you're not near a healer. It's good to know how long you have to kind of stall before you're going to have health available to you. So that's important for you to know. So I like to have that cooldown available. Buff duration. That is important. I don't have, trying to see if there's anybody here who gives me buffs. No. Okay. Buffs will appear on your name, and you'll see it like a health buff or a shield buff, different things like that. When you hover your mouse over them, you'll be able to see how long they're going to be there. That's an important thing to know. There's a thing called transforming for later in the game, that when somebody's a very high rank, they can kind of transform into a deity, and I think they can do it for 8 to 10 minutes. It's been a long time since I've been one, so but knowing how long they have on that is good to know. Knowing when an opponent has a shield up, it's good to know how long they have it up. There's other things like resists or evasion skills that people will have, and as you get to know those skills, knowing how long they're going to be there is really good to know. If you're playing Sorcerer, one of the things is you'll be able to sleep your opponents, and knowing how long they're going to be asleep is very important. So those are just some things to keep in mind when you have your buff icon duration up. Tool tips, I would say just go ahead and leave that on. Anything that's going to help you learn as you're starting, definitely keep it on just for now. And if it gets annoying, you can always turn it off. Auto arrange windows I do not do, because it locks everything in place where Aion wants you to put them, and I like to put things where I like to put things, so I leave that off. Now, fixing your compass north, I will show you what that does. If you notice up at the top on the right hand side here, I know that let me see if I can fix, no, you can see it fair enough, okay. There's a mini map at the top right hand side of my my thing here, and it always points north, and it says that it always kind of stays that way. I prefer to have whichever direction I'm facing being up at the top, so I like to have it not always facing north, but that is a personal preference. Show region on the compass, if you turn that off, you'll notice up at the top here by the mini map that it doesn't say where I am. Now, I get lost very easily, so I like to keep that on. Okay, and the next thing is display self in group window. And that will be, if let's say you're in a group of 4 other people, your name will usually be at the top, and it'll be like Larry Curly Mo or whoever's below you. If you don't want to worry about healing yourself, or you're not really worried about targeting yourself, you can turn that off so that only Larry, Curly, and Mo are going to show in the group. But I prefer to have myself in there just so I can kind of have everybody all in the same area. Yeah, a lot of these things are very self-explanatory. One of the things you can do in Aion is draw on maps, and you can send it to the rest of your group right here. But I don't have anybody in a group right now, so this just lets you know when somebody in your group is sending you a map. And that doesn't happen very often, but it's good to have it here just in case. Let me go ahead and delete that. Marking for normal quests below 65. This is one, it really depends on how you intend to play the game. The game right now is streamlined in such a way that if you play the dark blue quests and the yellow quests, they will get you through level 1 to 80 with just those quests and almost nothing else. If you want to play the other quests, you can do that and just, have that available to you. I personally don't care because I've played so much now that it doesn't really matter to me, but that's what that is. If you decide you want to see other quests, and I'm not sure how that's worded, if clicking it will turn them on or off, but when you're in a city, if you're curious, you can kind of play with that. Open system menu with ESC, or escape, that's pretty obvious. Okay, now this is another one for personal preference. Map transparency, when I hit M for map, there's that map. When I hit N as in Nancy, you're going to see there's another map right here to the left-hand side. And you could alter how much it shows up. See, now you can barely see it. Now you can see it very clearly. If you're getting to know the maps, it's probably a good idea to keep that pretty opaque, pretty solid, so that you can see it. Okay, so that's that one. Your action bars are going to be... Oh, look, going back to the map really quickly, I have been playing this game for like 8 years, and I still always leave a map up. Just because I like to see where I am, I like to kind of get an idea of how close to the road I am. There's just a lot of information you can get by having your map up. If that's not something you care about, you can hit N and it'll go away. But if you're like me, I just like having the map there, even though I usually know where I am. But now, we've got a new map, you may want to keep it open. Alright, anyway. Now, going with your extra quick bars. See these quick bars where your skills are? You can turn them on and off. And I always activate all of them because I am used to needing all of them. So, and I like to stack them like this and have them all in a nice, nice little stack here for me. It's up to you what you want to do, but, I like having it this way just so I have many options. All right, now we're going to be looking at, was there anything here? Okay, so this is just more of showing what chain skills you have available, and once we get some chain skills, I'll show you a little bit more about that. Now this is going to be for your controls and time. Your camera distance, depending on what you're used to, I like to have it max distance because I like to be able to see all around me, because I like to PvP, so if somebody's coming at me from a distance, if I have my camera really near, that cuts a lot of my field of vision out. So I like to have it max just to give myself as much chance as possible to react to what's going on around me. Camera speed normal is pretty good. You'll see it's not crazy fast, but it's comfortable about the speed of your hand. Invert camera panning, that's up to you. Raising camera angle really doesn't do much. It just, maybe if you're a taller character, but I'm pretty little, so we'll leave it down there. Disable click to move. If you're anything like me, I hate click to move. Click to move is this, where I'm clicking and I'm moving. I tend to have like a lot of random clicks when I'm playing, so that drives me crazy. So I always turn it off. See, now I'm clicking and nothing's happening. Okay, so left click to rotate camera. Right now you can see nothing happens when I do it. I just click on the people, but I don't rotate the camera. I can only do it if I right click. So this is left click, doing nothing, right click, rotating my camera. So I can change it if I want. And maybe, depends on what games you've played, maybe that matters to you, maybe it doesn't. Left click to run, attack, or chat, and right click to run, attack, or chat. I like having that on because sometimes, sometimes you're eating a sandwich and you want to just attack a lake sparky. So you just double click it and you eat your sandwich. And your character will run at that sparky and just smack the life out of him. And I've had my sandwich. And I didn't have to do anything. Okay, so that's basically all that is. Click left mouse to reverse. I don't really use that. Skills do not cancel click to move. I don't worry about that. Disable auto approach target. This I have used, okay, if you are at a place, like let's say you're up on a cliff somewhere, and you know how when we clicked on the Sparky, it made us run toward it, like, ah! Well, sometimes you don't want to do that, because falling off, let's say we're much, much higher, falling off, you have to go, turn around, get back up, climb again, so you don't want to do that. So you can turn off auto approach, and now, see, I can't, like, double clicking on is not doing anything. So I physically have to make the decision to run there. That depends on you, how you want to do that. I usually have it off unless I'm in a place like a siege where jumping off would not be beneficial to me. Like for example, the end game sieges right now, you very much spend your time up on a ledge, and if you fall directly into the enemy and you die. So that's just an idea that's about the only time I would turn it off. Okay, community. Now this is going to be just basically how you deal with the players around you. That's pretty obvious. This is all going to depend on how it feels best to you for chatting. If you hit enter, oops, I guess if you have that open, it's going to do that. If you hit enter normally, you'll see at the bottom here, there's a say, and I don't think I can talk to anybody yet. We'll do a smiley face. Oh, apparently I can talk. Awkward. Bye. I don't want to make a friend this early in. Okay, so that basically, I swear I'm not a hermit. Okay. So you'll notice when I hit enter again, it went away. The like the place to type. You can keep it active or have it be that you click to close it. It's really not a big deal. profanity filter. If you know this is your Christian Minecraft server and you want to keep things holy, go ahead and keep that on. The font size depends on your eyesight. I'm old, but I can still see normal size, so I leave it alone. Now these are all the things if you want to deny consent. Like you don't want to get bot emails or whispers from people under level 15. That's okay to do. People level, like I'm going to be level 15 probably in the next 20 minutes. So anybody under that level isn't looking to really level. So it's okay to block things from that. You're only going to get whispers for gold spammers or things like that. Declining duel requests, that's up to you. If you don't want people to ask you to fight, you can stop them from even being able to do that. So that's one thing to do, you can turn off. Decline friend registration. If you get somebody who's bothering you and you just want to not be bothered, you can turn that off. If you want to make a legion of your own or you don't want to be invited to a legion, you can turn decline legion invitation on. If you don't want to be invited to groups, I don't advise putting that on because it's a group kind of game. If you want to play by yourself, play, Uno or something. Uno's even a team game. So solitaire? I think solitaire was what I wanted to say. Declining trade. I don't think I've ever found a time when that isn't something I want, or is something I want to decline, so I leave that on. And decline viewing details. Some people will do that. Basically what that is all your gear here. If you don't want people to see what your gear is, you hit decline viewing detail. So then when somebody tries to see your gear, it'll say that you are not allowing anybody to see it. And sometimes that's good. If there's an assassin trying to attack you in open world PvP, sometimes what they'll do is they'll be in hide and they'll be invisible. And they'll target you and they'll check your gear and decide if they want to attack you or not. Well, if your gear is blocked, they can't decide based on what they see. So they don't know if you're more geared than them or less geared than them. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage. So that is a personal preference. Battle information. This is all just kind of stats stuff. It depends on what you want. If you want to know how much damage you're getting hit by, sometimes that's good to know. This one's not really one you have to worry. If you want to see how your group members are doing, if you're one of those people who likes to measure damage, this is your bread and butter, but it's not going to really matter. For this tab, the only ones I turn off are these here. Hide other players' pets. If you're running on a slow connection or you just kind of want to not have to process extra things, everybody has pets in the game. You're going to see minions and all kinds of things. And I know I probably want that turned off because I'm an NA player playing on EU, and that's going to be a lot to process for my little computer here. So turning that off is nice. Hide my minion your pet. Is that new? I don't have a pet to check that with, so I don't know. I'll leave that be for now then. Do not use minion or pet camera. Basically, when you go to feed your pet, it does this whole camera spin thing and looks down at your pet, which is super cute, like the first maybe 5 times you do it, but then after that it's just a hindrance and it takes your time to watch that load, so I just turned it off because there's no need to know. This I always leave on. This is your enemy warning function. If you have a pet that has an enemy warning function, when there's an enemy near you, it'll actually set off a siren and warn you. And if you are a purist and you want to get by only by your power of observation, go ahead and leave that on. You can turn it off, but I like to leave it on because I like to know when somebody's sneaking up behind me. And finally, show pathfinding spirit in the city. That's nice to have if you're in the main city. If you are looking for a specific NPC and you've clicked on a link to locate them, a little spirit will run around in front of you and you can follow it, and it's cute, and that's about it. It's not really a big deal. So those are the game options, pretty much all that you have to worry about right now. Let me just take a look here. And that's basically all I'm going to show you for now, because you probably want to start playing the game. And we went through that pretty in depth. If you want to know about the other settings in the game, just let me know and I'll make a little video on those as well. There are some key mapping things that I do. Actually, maybe I will show you one of them. For key mapping, that's if you want to be able to push a key and have things do stuff special for you. One of the things I like to do is be able to mark with just a button. So I have my H key, and I have that, and I use that for skull. So when I want to kill something, I can just hit H and I can mark it skull. That's just a little something I like to do. I'll show you in the Luna instance later on how I use that. But yeah, essentially that's everything for just kind of getting started. So I'm gonna leave this here because I know I talked a lot, and we'll talk a little bit more later in the next one. Alright, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I am not, I won't say you're asking any stupid questions, because there are no stupid questions. So if you have questions, ask them. Alright, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.